Brian Ettling tonight will be speaking from the Competent Communicator Manual, project number 9, Persuade with Power. And his objectives will be read by Carl Hendrickson, his evaluator.
Yes, Mr. Toastmaster. Brian's objectives are to persuade us, the audience, to adopt either his viewpoint, his ideas, or to take some action. He's to appeal to our interests. He's to use logic and emotion to support his position, and he's to avoid using notes.
Thank you, Carl. Just words for me about Brian is I know that a lot of us don't necessarily agree with Brian's points of view, and it could be a little conflicting with the way we believe, but I have to say that over the time that I've seen Brian at Toastmasters, he has improved immensely. And even though he may speak to an opposite point that I espouse, I think it's great that he speaks to his own point of view. For 2 years, Brian has been a member of South County Toastmasters. His Toastmasters experience has enabled Brian to give 11 climate change presentations in the St. Louis area this past winter. This does not include that he was invited to give a prepared speech to St. Louis County Executive Charlie Dooley and the St. Louis County Council in March. This is Brian's last Toastmaster speech for this season, since he's leaving for his summer job as a park ranger at the Crater Lake National Park in Oregon. But before he leaves St. Louis on May 1st, Brian has 2 more climate change presentations in St. Louis. And then, on his cross-country drive to Crater Lake, the Grand Canyon National Park has also invited Brian to speak about climate change. Even if you do not accept climate change, Brian hopes to persuade you tonight how you can make St. Louis a healthier community for us and our families. The title of Brian's speech is What Keeps Me Up Late at Night? Brian Ettling, What Keeps Me Up Late at Night?
And Adam, I really do appreciate those kind words, because I feel like Toastmasters has been such a blessing for me. So, time. We're going to do 9 minutes. Sorry about that. It was written on there, but I didn't get a chance to get with you on that, Tracy. But title of my speech, as he mentioned, is What Keeps Us Up Late at Night. There is something keeping me up late at night. At times it feels like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. Recently, this winter, I heard of a threat to nearby Beech County Park and for all of us living in the St. Louis area. And this is a huge concern for me because I grew up hiking the trails at Beech Park, just admiring the view of the Mississippi River. And this is a picture of me at the age of 17 in 1986 at Beech Park. I grew up there, and I have so many memories of, for instance, going to this picnic shelter. And we had Toastmasters picnics at this shelter here, too. At this shelter, we had family picnics there, family gatherings, church picnics there. We also had, I was in a high school band, we had annual awards picnics there, too. So I have so many memories of Beech Park growing up there. And in high school, I even had one of my first dates there, too. So spending time in Beech, I thought that scenery is so beautiful. It actually inspired me to be a park ranger at Crater Lake National Park in Oregon. So I've been basically going there for the past 21 years. If you've not been there, one of the most beautiful places you could ever see, the deepest lake in the United States, one of the cleanest and clearest bodies of water in the world. As a matter of fact, I lead boat tours out there. The water is so clean, I scoop this water bottle and drink the water straight from the lake during my tours. That's how clean the water is. Not only is the water clean, but the air is clean out there too. Crater Lake has no cities or no industry close by, so it has some of the cleanest air in the United States. So during some of my ranger talks, I ask my audience, take a deep breath while you're here, because the air is so clean. Well, unfortunately, that is not the case for Beech County Park or for the St. Louis metro area. Right next door to Beech County Park is the Meramec coal power plant. Now, the Meramec coal power plant was built in 1953, so it's 60 years old. And during the operation of this power plant, it has no pollution controls on it. And what scares me about the Meramec power plant is all the sulfur dioxide pollution coming from this plant. Now, as you can see, this is actually a map that was put together by Wingra Engineering, an independent engineering firm. And this map shows folks that we do not live in a safe area. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, and brace with me here for a moment, I'm going to get technical for just one moment here, folks. The safe limit for sulfur dioxide pollution is about 196 micrograms per meter per hour. Well, if you look on this map, the red areas here, over 5 times that amount, that area in the bright red. And I grew up in Oakville. I spent 37 years living in Oakville in this bright orange area, which was 4 times that legal amount, that legal and safe amount of sulfur dioxide pollution. We're actually right over here at the MetLife. We're actually about twice the safe limit of sulfur dioxide pollution. Basically, most of the St. Louis metro area, including Busch Stadium and Six Flags, is above the safe standard for sulfur dioxide pollution. Now, you may be thinking, Brian, big deal. So what? How does this affect me? Well, the sulfur dioxide pollution is a big, dangerous threat to you. According to the June 2012 Environmental Integrity Project report, that said sulfur dioxide pollution causes asthma attacks, severe respiratory problems, lung disease, and heart complications. Even more, statistically, 1,000 asthma attacks and 57 to 100 premature deaths of our St. Louis friends and neighbors happens each year because of the Meramec power plant. Now, you may think that's just statistics, but folks, this is your life and your family. This next picture is of my family, my parents, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, and my brothers-in-law. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and picture your family. Who here wants their family living in an unsafe and unhealthy community? Raise your hand. Nobody. We all want to live in a safe and healthy community. Well, that means that the pollution coming from the Meramec power plant is simply unacceptable. My parents who are here tonight, and the good news is they're going to be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary this coming Saturday. Isn't that exciting? That's the good news. The bad news is both of my parents have had cancer in their lifetimes. They're both cancer survivors, which is good, but on the other hand, it's really scary because on March 2nd of this year, my dad had a 6-inch cancerous tumor removed right below his kidney and his kidney removed. And the doctor told my dad, your cancer is typical of a smoker. Well, my parents have been non-smokers their entire lives. So I am worried that living in Oakville, close to the Meramec power plant, actually did contribute to their cancer. Now, from May to October, I'll be living in the beauty and the healthy environment of Crater Lake National Park. Matter of fact, the air there is so healthy, we can see mountains from over 100 miles away. So yes, I do live in paradise. However, this keeps me up late at night. The health threat that my parents and all of you face living next to the Meramec coal power plant. So what helped me to have a good night's sleep and to get the weight of the world off my shoulders is I want to persuade you guys to do 2 things here tonight. First, I brought these green cards with me, and it should be helpful if you guys could fill these out. These are addressed to the St. Louis County Council. We're asking the St. Louis County Council to actually request that the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, which is the agency responsible for keeping our air and water clean, we're asking that they're called the DNR, to actually require Ameren, which actually operates the Meramec coal power plant, to lower those sulfur dioxide emissions to safe levels for our families to meet the standards of the Clean Air Act. Second, I need you, my fellow Toastmasters, such as Carl Hendrickson, and Adam Gattell, and Aaron Gissel, Patrina Monti, Steve Winheim, Rob Van Winkle, Tracy Cahill, Steve Flick, and all of you guys in the room to also speak out against the pollution. at the Meramec coal power plant. Folks, I am leaving for 5 months, and I'm going to be 2,000 miles away, so I can't do this alone. So I really do need your help on this issue. Howard Brandt would even tell us that the pollution would stink in this area if we don't do anything. So we've got to rise above to have healthy air for our community. So, for my parents, for my nieces and nephews, for your family, and for Beech Tree County Park, let's do everything we can to reduce that pollution so I can sleep better at night. And if we do reduce that pollution and eliminate it from the Meramec coal power plant, someday my nephew Andrew Hunt and my niece Rachel Hunt will thank us for saving their home. In closing, have a wonderful summer here in St. Louis, and I will see you again next October. Mr. Toastmaster.